Hi, Stephen here from Spirituality Talks. I'm just here to do a little talk today on depression and some of the herbs and supplements I've used to help myself through it. It was also after coming off heroin and during heroin addiction, so there was a lot of detoxing to be done. There was a lot of herbs and different techniques used for detoxing, which is also part of lifting depression. You see, due to build up of different toxins and various issues, your body's not able to clean out properly when you're eating a lot of processed food and a lot of junk for a start, including a lot of meat, and all these heavy things tend to weigh the body down, make it harder to clean out. So physically your body will be a bit depressed anyway, it will be a little bit down, it won't be functioning 100%, so that's also a part of it. Not the full picture, but that's certainly part of it. From my experience, I believe depression to be mainly a combination of thinking and emotions. There's some debates nowadays of where if emotions are a lot connected to our ways of thinking. If we're thinking something is going brilliantly, we're more likely to feel elated and happy and content. Things may not go brilliantly, or they may not be going brilliantly, but if we're thinking it, that can be powerful enough to trigger positive emotions. If we know that something is leading into a good place, even if it's going badly, again, that can trigger positive emotions rather than thinking my whole world is crumbling, nothing I can do about it, I'm powerless, everything's against me. That sort of thinking process is obviously going to cause an emotional response, and that apparently causes a physiological response, chemical releases, stress hormones they call cortisol or adrenaline. These things get released which cause stress to the body and then health problems based on that. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a psychiatrist, so I don't know all the ins and outs or the correct terminology, so you'll have to forgive me there. But I'm just talking from my own experience. At the moment, I'm going to talk about certain herbs and certain extracts that I've been using which have helped. I've learnt along the way over the last couple of years. Okay, to be honest with you, also very small amounts of good quality marijuana occasionally. For me personally, it has been a benefit. I would also say certain psychedelics in small amounts occasionally for me have been amazing. But I have had a grounding in meditation and yoga going back probably, nearly 20 years now. So I would also say get a grounding in something physical, do some physical exercise, something on a regular basis, something where you're more in touch with your mind and you're a bit more in touch with your true self before you maybe reach for any psychedelics. But saying that, there's other herbs out there which have been brilliant. One of them I'm going to show you now. I don't know if you can see it. This is called Passionflower. It's a green herb. You can look it up on any website. You can get it, I think, from Amazon. I would get at least an organic Passionflower. Get the herb. They do extracts as well. If you can get a non-chemical based extract, an alcohol extract maybe is okay. But I stick to the fresh herb, and you can make it as strong as you want it. You can make it relatively weak. It's very, very good for the central nervous system, great for anxiety. It helps to promote a relaxed sleep, but saying that, you can also drink it in the daytime and function fully. It's a stimulant at the same time as a relaxant as far as I know, and it works on a detoxing level. I think it's quite good for bronchial issues and some stuff. I don't know that much about the actual physical medical properties of it. Again, there'll be more information out there about that, and you can certainly look it up on Google nowadays or probably on YouTube. But for me, I've found it amazing for depression and keeping a balanced point of view and staying upbeat and motivated. I've heard it's good for addiction as well, in the sense of after addiction. It can be good for regulating anxiety, regulating the nervous system. Ginseng also is a great nervous system tonic. In Chinese medicine, I think they call it like a yang medicine or jing medicine, good for the kidneys, good for the reproductive system, brilliant. It's a nervous system stimulant, good for mind functioning. I think it's known as an adaptogen as well, meaning that it works on different levels in different ways depending on the benefit, depending on what's needed for the person. So it can increase energy levels, it can regulate energy levels if you have too much excessive sort of energy. Passionflower also works on that sort of level, balancing. Lavender's quite a good balancer as well for going to sleep and so forth. I don't know how powerful that is for depression, but it certainly helps with sleep. as does valerian, passionflower, hop. These things are very good for coming out of addiction, to help regulate the brain chemistry, also for depression. This is what the bag looks like, organic mucuna powder. It comes as, I'll show you right now, in the spoon. You got me on camera there? Yeah. Okay, this is basically a beigey looking powder. Now I've had a strong extract of this, which is a bit better. It was a natural extract, and I think it was 45% Ldopa. Ldopa is the natural compound in it, which regulates dopamine levels in the brain and increases the neurotransmitters involved in producing dopamine and the chemicals used for creating dopamine in the brain. So for someone who's been smoking too much cannabis, for someone who's come out of addiction, alcoholism, for somebody who's come out of heroin addiction for sure, also people suffering with depression or general lethargy, it's used in Ayurveda, it's used in, I think, South American medicine. For those interested, it's a legume, it's like a bean, I suppose like a kidney bean, but it's a different colour, and yeah, it's used ground up and dried. And yeah, Ldopa is something, as I say, it's like a building block of the neurotransmitter dopamine, which Parkinson's sufferers, they generally lack dopamine production and the ability to produce dopamine, which is why Ldopa, they actually have a synthesized version, I believe, called levodopa, which is used as a medicine for Parkinson's. But that has side effects, whereas the mucuna has no negative side effects that we know of, from what I've researched. It's also got something in it, I think, called building block of the human growth hormone, HGH, I think it's called, yeah, human growth hormone. So it's great for people, again, coming out of addiction or have had an unhealthy lifestyle, people who are unable to build much weight or muscle mass. It will help to produce more testosterone. Generally, it's very, very good for the hormonal systems, I think the kidney, the adrenal glands, and very good for brain function. Brilliant stuff. Also, I'm just going to throw out there chaga mushroom. If you look that up, I've got some inside. Chaga mushroom, it's a dried mushroom. It's also known as an adaptogen. Massive antioxidant properties, massive. And I believe it helps to build melatonin in the brain chemistry. Melatonin, or is it melanin? It could be melanin, the one that's the pigment as well. You see, so it's got it's like a very, very dark mushroom. It's got black on it, it's got dark brown, it's different shades, and I think it's the melanin in it that gives it the pigment and so forth, and that is meant to be very conducive to natural sleep as well, and helping to contribute to very good basic brain chemistry, where things get out of whack, especially after addiction and through detox. Using these things at the same time, it helps to bring everything together quite quickly, I've found. Whereas heroin and certain addiction, it can take maybe months to get everything back to balance if you live a natural lifestyle. Yeah, so with these supplements, it certainly helps that. Another great supplement is vitamin D3. Okay, you can get it, this is a good one, you can get slightly stronger ones, I believe. This is great. Most of us in Britain and probably in most of Europe and probably most of the Western world are lacking vitamin D. Just through lack of sunshine, working in offices, more time indoors, more unnatural light. Excuse me 1 second. And yeah, vitamin D3 helps the brain to produce natural serotonin, and it helps to boost the immune system, which is obviously very important when detoxing. When you've come off heroin or methadone, your body's normally lacking minerals and vitamins, nutrients, which is where vitamin D comes in. These other supplements are very helpful, especially mucuna for the physical side, especially. Passionflower helps to, as I say, change. But there's a lot going on with Passionflower, and there's probably more than I can remember at the moment. But it's great. These three especially are very good for depression, combined with time in nature, time socialising. Any way you can, get out there a little bit, try and give something back. I've found actually contributing seems to be a lot more inspiring than just building up money for some big boss. And spending it on our own pleasures, which is what leads to heroin or alcohol addiction in the first place normally. Yeah, keeping to a healthy, fresh diet as much as possible. These supplements, maca powder is very good, and bee pollen. These are very high in different B vitamins, B6, B12, I believe. And I've been also using natural oils just for general brain and bone health, keep things moving. You get triple omega oils. I think it's hemp seed, flax seed, and primrose seed is a very good one. Anything that's a combo of omega 3, 6, and 9, that would be great for general brain function. Nowadays they're talking a lot about the pineal gland. It's very good for decalcification of pineal gland, probably decalcification of the joints, which is why I'm sure it will help with arthritis and so forth. Obviously it lubricates joints anyway, and yeah, I guess I'll leave it there for now. There's going to be a fair bit more